Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time here on the GSMC Sports Network. Here to talk about some of the greatest things in the world, like professional wrestling. We talk about AEW, the WWE, even we talk about the Attitude Era sometimes, Ruthless Aggression Era. We talk about WCW, ECW. This is like a wrestling show for, you know, the demographic from what is it, from 19 to 41 years old, I think it is. And I'm 32, and I remember watching all that good stuff. So if you're a wrestling fan of all ages, we have something here for you on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. All right, guys, today it is Friday. Can't wait. It's, the weekend is here. Tonight was an NFL game, but I taped it. I'm also taping Smackdown. So as soon as I get done with this podcast, I have definitely a lot of soul searching to do as of, watching the NFL game. Also, some good old fashioned Friday night SmackDown. Um, you know, Sunday, first week of the NFL season. Hope, all you sports bettors out there are, you have a clean slate. Hope you guys win in your bouts. I have my picks in already. I know it might be a little too soon, but it is week one. The philosophy about the NFL, my man Colin Cowherd says it best on Fox Sports. Uh, First 3 weeks, the first 3 weeks of the NFL season, bad teams don't know they're bad. So it's a coin flip for divisional games within the first 3 weeks in the NFL season. So I can't wait to watch those games on Sunday. But now we're here to talk about professional wrestling. For today for you today. That sounded kind of weird. On tap today, we have our WWE Smackdown preview. We have my Thursday night wrestling review, and we also have power rankings. We have power rankings, our Friday power rankings tonight. Excuse me. Um, we usually do it on Mondays. We had a lot of wrestling news becoming viral that we had to speak of on Monday. So for a moment, I thought maybe we could Friday we could do some power rankings. Maybe at the end of the week we should do some power rankings instead of the beginning of the week. I think maybe I might kind of jump on that bandwagon, maybe start doing that. So we're going to do it for the men's on my third segment. Fourth, we're going to jump to the women's power rankings in our fifth and final segment on this Friday. We're going to talk about AEW All Out happening on Saturday. Can't wait to watch it. Can't wait to, it's going to be great. AEW has amazing pay-per-views. I like how it was kind of back to back as, in terms of, because you recently had AEW All In. And I thought it was great. I thought the pay-per-view definitely lived up to the hype. But before we dig into any of that, I want to remind you guys, if you have a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling, or just something you've been dying to share and get off your chest, this show is all about keeping the conversation going, keeping it lively, keeping the party going, making sure your voice is part of the mix. 1,010%. Don't be shy and drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets noticed, why not use that super chat? It's that $ below that chat box. Sending your message and it's guaranteed to be featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel, kind of keep the lights on this podcast to bring you even more awesome wrestling content. But you're absolutely, we want to say thank you first and foremost. We are so grateful for each and every one of you who joins us on the GSMC Sports Network. Watch a whole bunch of badass podcasters doing their thing. So thank you for supporting us. Let's keep this conversation going. Let's keep the party going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And let's go ahead and do it. Let's keep this, let's make this podcast bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, if the super chat is not your thing, you could still hit us up at the gsmcpodcast.net. Hit us up with, the tips and donations link. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Give me some of your hot takes in terms of professional wrestling. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. 1,010% of the time. So don't be, don't be a hater. I'm just kidding. No, feedback is a gift. Any kind of feedback is is awesome. Remember the Superman punch, that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network, so we can, keep all this wrestling things, going down for you guys. Speaking of that, I got a couple of chats right here. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. It's awesome. Thank you, Fox, for the good moments. I'm gonna miss the WWE on Fox, and technically I guess this could kind of fall under my WWE Smackdown preview. But all in all, I liked Fox in the beginning when they had the holograms and they made wrestling something big. They made it bigger, better, and and they made it come alive. And I feel like, the move to Fox was pretty great. Um, I liked how Fox, when they had the draft, it was kind of like, you were stepping in the war room watching the NFL draft in April. Um, Fox did such a great job, and the NFL's, was a huge reason why I feel like WWE SmackDown got a whole bunch of new fans because during the games you would see, the commercial, the "Can't Stop Me Now," join the baddest superstars on earth on WWE SmackDown Friday. Like, I overall I thought it brought a lot of new wrestling fans to the product, and I don't know why they're I know for WWE you kind of could rely on one big main name. Monday Night Raw going to Netflix obviously had a lot to do with this decision. A lot of the times the NFL and Fox, I think the reason I think I read this somewhere, don't quote me on this, but I believe Fox didn't renew their partnership with WWE because, with football, with college football, you just have a bunch of just stuff going on. Fridays, Saturdays. I think they have a Friday night football game, college football. I'm not too sure. But you know, it's hard. It's hard. And with the WNBA playoffs, kind of coming in full swing, the MLB playoffs coming in full swing. Fox is like a huge, when it comes to the postseason, when you think of MLB postseason and the World Series, you think of Fox. I think of Joe Buck, John Smoltz, but it kind of sucks that they left. Not that I'm hating on the other, not that I'm hating on the other announcers that, do the whole, World Series now. But I don't know, Joe Buck, and it's kind of a hard voice to replace. Also, I got to chat. The Rock return on SmackDown premiere on Fox 2019. SmackDown was ultimately created, I think, back in 2001. 2001, it was like SmackDown. You know what I mean? The Rock laying the SmackDown. The Rock was a very prominent superstar on the SmackDown roster. For the longest time, he was on SmackDown. That was kind of his show. Triple H was on Raw, but then as soon as The Rock started jumping into his Hollywood career, and he filming the Scorpion King, then moving on to obviously what you guys see him right now as a movie star on Disney, playing roles like the Game Plan, being a Tooth Fairy, the movie Faster. Oh my God, him and Faster, he was pretty badass. In the Hobbs and Shaw in the Fast and the Furious franchise. Eventually, you saw then Triple H kind of come over to SmackDown, kind of make it The Undertaker has always been on SmackDown. It's kind of weird when you don't see him. For the longest time, John Cena. John Cena was also on SmackDown, but then he moved to Raw. That's when I believe they started pushing Dave Batista after his departure and after he, stuck up against Evolution. So I thought it was, kind of pretty, super cool. Now they're making Monster Jam. I've never been to a Monster Jam event, but I heard it's pretty dope. I live near the Los Angeles area. I'm a huge Angels fan. I know at Angel Stadium they do have Monster Jam. 1,010%. I would definitely love to see that. It'd be super dope. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some WWE SmackDown for tonight. The last, we say farewell. We bid farewell to Fox. And, the commercial, I think WWE definitely got what they were looking for during this partnership with Fox. Although I did kind of feel like it was a little shorter, but the USA Network right now, they want to make sure that, they have two wrestling brands, they not two wrestling brands. Until January 2025, they're going to have Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown because you're going to have the NXT October 1st move to the CW network, which I think it's going to be great. I think they'll be fine. But it's our last SmackDown. I overall think it's going to be a good one. It's going to end with a bang. We are live in the Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. It's been kind of rumored around that Bret the Hitman Hart might make an appearance. Obviously, they are building momentum to Bad Blood, and I don't know. It's just at the same time, it's hard because during Roman Reigns' huge push during this. I think it was a little bit post pandemic that Fox, kind of adopted the WWE. And you remember seeing the holograms of Roman Reigns, like what I mean, like wreck everyone and leave, come show up and win. Definitely, Roman Reigns is his heel turn, his success, becoming WWE Undisputed Champion has definitely been in the SmackDown on Fox kind of era. If you were a fan on Fox watching SmackDown, you'd be like, dude, Roman Reigns is he's the stuff, man. He's great. But I don't know, it's kind of, it's a little sad. It is a little sad that, in terms of, what's next for WWE. I like that they're going to the USA Network. They've been on there for the longest freaking time. It's crazy. But tonight we're going to see the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes will address Solo Sikoa's challenge. The self-proclaimed tribal chief already declared that he's challenging for the top prize in WWE once again, saying that, you know what? Roman Reigns screwed me. I should have won at SummerSlam. I was going to win, but then he had to stick his nose into some other person's business. Oh, don't you hate it when that happens? Isn't that how the bloodline kind of makes their killing in the first place? Like, I don't know. That's kind of ironic right there. Oxymoronic, but it is what it is. Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa is not going to be able to challenge Cody Rhodes. I feel like for this, for Solo Sikoa's career to kind of get better, and I feel like ultimately it will, be better. Roman Reigns and him need to fight tribal combat, bad blood, anything goes. That's when Roman Reigns starts bringing in some of the teammates he's going to have at Survivor Series. Damn it, what is the two cages by each other? Shit. War games. There's going to be a War Games match. It's going to be a Bloodline Civil War and War Games. You're going to see Hikuleo debut. You're going to see Jimmy Uso come back. Paul Heyman is definitely going to come back with Roman Reigns. Maybe tonight would be kind of crazy, but it would seem kind of fitting that once when Roman Reigns started his dominance on Fox, on SmackDown, he was with Paul Heyman. So I think 1,010% it would be pretty cool if that, kind of became, kind of came full circle here. But then that leaves Cody Rhodes without, anybody to fight. I ultimately feel like Randy Orton's going to come back and perhaps challenge him, but bad blood. I could feel like, maybe a second round with Kevin Owens, perhaps that could be, something that, that could possibly move into the future. Maybe you have, a newcomer come up and challenge Cody Rhodes. Although someone on SmackDown right now, I don't really see anybody right now that could be able to take Cody Rhodes. Like, he already defeated Logan Paul. He already defeated Carmelo Hayes. The LA Knight is the United States champion, and if they have another champion versus champion match, I'm going to go berserk. But I guarantee you that Cody Rhodes will not be fighting Solo Sikoa at WWE Bad Blood. But that's just me. That's, I just feel like that would be such a bad booking. I feel like that would be pretty crazy. But the Bloodline also has a pretty intense 8-man tag team match tonight against DIY and the Street Profits. All in all, what I hope is going to happen. What I hope is going to happen that, I hope no, never mind. That sounds so terrible. Damn it. I would project that, either somebody from DIY or somebody from the Street Profits gets injured to the point where Cody Rhodes is going to have to force his way into this match. And, just to make it a little more personal, then you have Roman Reigns once again cost Solo Sikoa coming back from a hellacious attack when the new Young Bloodline threw him through the announce table and left him to die. So that's what I would do. But once again, like, I am just a wrestling fan my whole entire life. So what do I know? Wrapping this up, we have Bayley returning to SmackDown last week. So she's going to address Nia Jax. Like, right now, Nia Jax's reign as the WWE Women's Champion it's been decent. I like that she's been a fighting champion. I like that she fought Michin in a street fight, although it seemed it was a little miscued and, a lot of, they missed their spots. But it was a women's hardcore match. And I'm not trying to discredit the women wrestlers in this kind of aspect, but it's always hard to kind of, get on the same page, even for the men as well. Queen Nia Jax seems like she has to look over her shoulder with Tiffany Stratton, on the other hand, who interfered. Got a bad rap from Nia Jax because the moment she looked up, she saw Tiffany Stratton holding that Money in the Bank briefcase, giving it to the referee, and it was just wrong place at the wrong time. Giovanni Vinci returns to SmackDown tonight. United States champion LA Knight has been busy defending his belt over the last 2 episodes of SmackDown. Obviously, Ludwig Kaiser. It was a great match. I would love to see Ludwig inside SmackDown. I feel like he definitely has potential to be United States champion. Nick Aldis is ready to announce the next match. What is he going to say about the Andrade Carmelo, kind of battle? Randy Orton, didn't find success on Raw. So will he return to SmackDown tonight? Also, will A-Town Down Under finally break apart? Would be kind of crazy to see Austin Theory and, Cody Rhodes go at it at Bad Blood. They've had a lot of bad blood in the past, A-Town Down Under, but Austin Theory, maybe this is the final nail in the coffin. Maybe he comes up with Grayson Waller, and Grayson Waller screws over Austin Theory and causes him the belt, which causes a huge perpetual, it propels them into a match that's going to it's going to be amazing. And also, AJ Styles recently during, when WWE went overseas to Europe, when they were in Japan, when they were in Latin America, he was there, but on the episodes weekly, he hasn't really been there. And that Styles fan, 1,010%. I don't know. It's pretty concerning. All right, guys. Hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our second segment. It's my Thursday night wrestling review. Jump into the ring of TNA and the world of Ring of Honor with this next segment. So join me here in about 20 seconds.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, all the action inside and out, all the drama behind the curtain. Also, we talk about injuries, we talk about contracts. Basically, if it makes wrestling headline news concerning Stardom, New Japan Professional Wrestling, the GCW, the NWA, WWE, of course, AEW, wherever we talk about it here on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. So yeah, let's go ahead and kind of reiterate what we talked about earlier. We had our WWE Smackdown preview, the last episode on Friday on Fox, which I feel like overall it was a good beneficial relationship for both of the channels, both of the businesses, promotions, both of the businesses. I don't know how want to kind of have that statement, but I think WWE is gonna take a hit. You have a lot of NFL fans watching Fox on Sundays, and then you have the WWE commercial pop up to tune into SmackDown 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Central Time. So I think overall it will hurt WWE a little bit. You've seen ratings decrease once when you kind of had Raw move to Sci-Fi. And just the USA Network has been broadcasting the WWE for the longest time. So I don't necessarily think it's going to be such a huge hit. I know the USA Network wants another wrestling show because you're going to have NXT go to the CW. But overall, I don't think it's going to hurt WWE in any way, shape, or form. I think it's just going to make it better. And let's go ahead and jump on into our Thursday night wrestling. review. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with some Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling. So the system, as promised, kicked off TNA Impact. The ring, they came into the ring, and Alicia Edwards asked us multiple times if we want to know something. Eddie Edwards says everyone wants to see the system's failure, but they said the system's not going to fail. I honestly think that they are kind of close to failing. Like I don't think they're going to take back the gold. If they take back the gold, they are, I feel like TNA Creative is literally setting a whole locker room of superstars back. And that would be terrible. Obviously right now, I feel like, everybody, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, Moose, and the newly person, JDC, also Alicia Edwards. I think they did their jobs. I ultimately think they did their jobs. They were that antagonistic group that a lot of people hated. And, you got a lot of baby faces out of it. Obviously, when you saw everything going down with Joe Hendry, you saw Nick Nemeth. You also saw Josh Alexander for a little bit, but then he quickly went back to, being a badass. But I want to see something new for the system. I don't think that they're going to get the gold back. I don't think they are. And to be honest, if I'm a TNA creative writer, I wouldn't allow that. I wouldn't think that would be great for their bookings. And I'm not trying to say that to be a mean or a jerk, like, being like, these guys had their 15 minutes of fame, they're done. No, I don't believe that at all. What I would really honestly do is set up a collaboration with NXT. Set up a collaboration with NXT. Maybe they feud with the family, Tony D'Angelo, Stax Lorenzo, and damn it, I forgot the other guy. And they also have, Adriana Rizzo. Like, imagine that 4-on-4 match. That would be dope. That'd be great for them. I would love to see Moose take on Oba Femi for the NXT North American Championship. That would be so awesome. That would be so great. Right now, I feel like with this new initiative debuting into the CW, I believe you're gonna see more TNA superstars win NXT Gold and vice versa. 1,010%. I'm waiting for somebody to finally dethrone. Well, not finally dethroned, because Charlie Dempsey just won the NXT Heritage Cup Championship. I feel like the Heritage Cup Championship will be the first one to go. Next, obviously the Rascals have a really good chance to take on Nathan Frazier and Axiom after that short tag team reign with Chase U, which I didn't think was going to happen, but it happened. What's the go against, two of the hottest superstars in TNA, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. They win the tag team gold on NXT because on NXT, there are also two hot superstars. They're on fire right now. And they would it's going to be so great. Ultimately, I feel like Wesley will find a way to kind of screw up their chances on that first episode on the CW. But I don't know. I just feel like, I want to see a cross-promotional brand. Like when you see the New Japan Professional Wrestling Strong Champion go on AEW soil, the CMLL, Willow Nightingale, the women's champion on AEW Dynamite Collision and Rampage. I just want to see that right now with WWE NXT. And I feel like that's going to be the future. I feel like they are going to establish something with that. But I don't know. Obviously I mucho respect for the system, but them getting any kind of gold back would absolutely just be terrible. It'd be awful. All right, next we have Eric Young is in action tonight. Obviously, Young says Emergence was the first time he and Steve Macklin touched. Young says they came to the line and they showed up like men. Obviously, Macklin did get the win over him, but Eric Young, he's amazing. He's literally amazing, and I feel like he's gonna have a lot of positive things kind of moving forward. Next, Kushida and versus the Laredo Kid ends in a no contest. Josh Alexander hits the ring and attacks both Laredo Kid and Kushida, which is, kind of fitting for his character to kind of blow up like that. But, whenever something happens like that, whenever someone kind of reminds me of like a Braun Breaker kind of approach by Alexander. And, he ended up fighting Kushida, hit Kushida with the C4 spike to score the pinfall victory. Josh Alexander, bro, check yourself, man. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, man. And then Joe Hendry comes in and checks on Kushida backstage. Afterwards, he gets in the face of Josh Alexander, who has no remorse for his actions. Kind of crazy. Jordan Grace comes to the ring and issues her open challenge, and it's answered. It has been answered by Miss NXT Ariana Grace. Ariana reveals that she's just a liaison between TNA and NXT now. So perhaps maybe you're going to see more Ariana Grace on TNA as well, which would be I feel like it'd be great. She's a great superstar. She's very talented, and she could be like kind of like that mini general manager kind of thing, kind of like we saw Layla with like Teddy Long back in those days. I think that'd be pretty cool. So then, of course, she didn't get inside the ring. Instead, she introduces Jordan Grace's opponent, which was Carmen Petrovic. Carmen Petrovic has touched feet in TNA soil. Overall, you saw Jordan Grace defeat Carmen Petrovic to retain the TNA Knockouts Championship. Jordan Grace hits Carmen Petrovic with the Juggernaut driver to score the pinfall. And like I said, she also has an open challenge on NXT Tuesday. She's hoping to fight a couple of NXT stars. It'd be kind of shocking to see, to see a couple of TNA stars kind of come around and challenge her. I also contemplated a lot of Monday Night Raw superstars, a lot of SmackDown superstars that could possibly answer the challenge. Also, you could have maybe some returning superstars like Alexa Bliss. Wouldn't it be crazy if you saw Alexa Bliss challenge Juggernaut? Charlotte Flair, that match would be absolutely monumental. Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan-esque kind of match. Or Asuka. Asuka is very successful in NXT, and it'd be kind of crazy to see her get her hands dirty with some of the TNA Knockouts best. So, obviously we still don't know who's it going to be. A lot of people are anticipating now Jada Parker or Natalia, which would be great. But I don't know. I just feel like it could be a lot better. Could be a lot better. Newly crowned TNA X Division champion Zachary Wentz comes out to the ring and speaks. Wentz says that fans don't know how much it means to him to be the X Division champion. He's riding on a huge high right now. And it's not like a high where people are like, he doesn't deserve it. He's been within the wrestling circuit for quite some time. He's paid his dues. He literally had a huge win against the longest reigning NXT North American champion, Wes Lee. But I don't think this momentum is going to go anywhere soon. So then you had Speedball Mike Bailey come out to congratulate him with his title win at Emergence. Obviously, the Good Hands come out to bury Speedball Wentz in Kentucky, and they hit the ring and attack both men, which would happen to be like an impromptu tag match. Usually those matches do, what happens. But Zachary Wentz and Speedball Mike Bailey, defeat the Good Hands. We'd love to see those guys kind of go at it, head to head in the future. Next, we have Steph D. Lander confront Matt Cardona. Steph D. Lander comes out to the ring, says that Matt Cardona ruined her wedding and her honeymoon and calls him out to the ring. Matt comes out, obviously, saying that, we've been through so much together. We've been through, we've traveled the world together, kind of hinting at, and he says Steph D. Lander, she wants to be her own woman. Like, for the longest time, you had Matt kind of be the head honcho in terms of that. But maybe, Stephanie Lander, she's done with Matt Cardona. Maybe she's, she wants to have nothing to do with him. And that, maybe she's going to, screw him over in his match against PCO. But for me, I know how professional wrestling works. Then you saw when Stephanie Lander starts to cry, PCO comes out to the ring and makes the save. Cardona hides behind D. Lander and runs away. It's like I said, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I've kind of seen this kind of promo kind of backfire. But overall, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. Next, you have the Hardys, backstage saying that at TNA Victory Road, they're going to keep a close eye on the TNA World Tag Team Champions, ABC. The ABC is really good right now. They're riding a good momentum. So I wouldn't, the Hardy Boys, they're nostalgic, they're clickbait. When you have any, thumbnail with the Hardy Boys in it, they're going to be like, oh, the Hardy Boys, but we're going to click on it. But I don't want to see them win. I feel like they are past their prime. I'm a huge Attitude Era kind of guy. Dudley Boys, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Edge and Christian are like my heart and soul of tag team wrestling. But I just feel like them. I just don't. I don't know. I don't want to see this keep happening, because you saw Matt and Jeff Hardy return to WWE. I think it was back in 2016 or 17 when they came back in WrestleMania to win the WWE Tag Team Championships. And there's so many other superstars that could have been promoted that could have been, could have changed their lives with maybe a different direction in terms of their storyline, character development. Matt and Jeff Hardy right now, and I'm not trying to sound mean, but right now they're just kind of like spotlight hoggers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I know that sounds mean, and I love Matt and Jeff Hardy. I love them. But right now, if you're TNA, you don't want to wind up like WCW. Just promoted a whole bunch of just old school wrestling guys. Like, it's cool to do that once in a while. But I don't know. As of right now, don't do it. Eric Young defeated Jake something tonight. Also, it was pretty awesome. Moose and JDC with Alicia Edwards defeated Joe Hendry and Mike Santana, of course, with another rage. Because of the rage monster that is Josh Alexander. Once again, comes in to destroy Joe Hendry's chances at winning. And, it kind of sucks. But, yeah. All right, next we have Ring of Honor real quick. We rapidly ran out of time. So crazy how fast 12 minutes flew by. We saw Rocky Romero defeat Aaron Sola via pinfall with super sliced bread. Lady Frost makes her Ring of Honor return where she called her shot at a proving ground match for the Ring of Honor Women's Television title that would happen later on tonight. Lee Johnson defeated Nick Camarado, accompanied by Jacoby Watts with the roll up. Paul White interviewed Beef and Anthony Henry by naming them as part of the Work Horsemen. Henry said that it was not time without JD Drake before leaving. So we also saw Rachel Ellinger win her match, which is she's a great superstar. I'm happy that they're still kind of building her up despite her loss to Mina Shirakawa. You had Anthony Henry and Beef defeat Terry Jackie and Jay Lucas. We saw Angelico Sorpretico defeat the Iron Savages. Ring of Honor Women's Television Champion in a proving ground match. You saw Red Velvet defeat Lady Frost. Lance Archer and the Righteous defeated Lights Camera Faction, Braxton and Fresco and Watson with Ice Williams. Diamante defeated Tierra James. You saw Griff Garrison along with followed by ringside with Maria Kanellis, Bennett. Defeated Angelo Parker. The Premier Athletes Tony Nese and Aria Davari with Mark Sterling defeated Joe Alonzo, Josiah Jean via pinfall. You also saw John Silver defeat Fuego de Sol. Abaddon defeated Rachel Chanel. Katsuyori Shibata defeated Josh Woods. And in the main event, you had Mina Shirakawa prove why she's one of the best wrestlers in the world, defeating Taya Valkyrie. So, a lot of good stuff on Ring of Honor, a lot of good stuff happening on TNA. So make sure you tune into those shows whenever you got a moment. All right, so in our third segment, we have Wrestling Power Rankings on a Friday. It's Friday, got to get down on Friday. Next Friday is actually be Friday the 13th. Would be kind of cool to have like a little, horror movie, maybe, theme to it, this podcast. That would be pretty crazy. I'm just kidding, no. Overall, we're going to talk about the top 10 men in professional wrestling: AEW, NWA, Ring of Honor, TNA, WWE, NXT. We're going to talk about it here. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here on the GSMC Sports Network, we talk about one thing we all have in common that we love: professional wrestling, all the action inside and out, backstage drama. Also, we talk about superstar injury updates, inactivity statuses. We also talk about contract negotiations, promotions from WWE to AEW, the NWA, TNA, Ring of Honor. If it makes major news wrestling, headlines, we talk about it here on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. All right, so we're going to talk about wrestling power rankings. We got the men's top 10. So, but before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to hit up that super chat, be a part of the show, hit up those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. Help us keep the lights on all these GSMC sports shows. Kind of keeps the fire going. We are absolutely grateful for each and every one of you guys. And once again, if the super chat is not your thing, hit up the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Shoot in your questions. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Give me some of your hot takes in terms of professional wrestling. Go ahead and Superman punch that like a subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010%. So leave a positive review. But if you leave a criticism, feedback is a gift. Obviously, we want to hear what you guys feel. We want to hear how we can make this podcast better. And we can make this podcast bigger, better, and stronger than ever. All right, so now we're going to talk about segment 3, my wrestling power rankings. We got my top 10. But before we do that, we got a chat from my man, Anthony Mazzano. Hypothetically, if WWE decided to bring back names of old shows from WCW, Nitro, or Thunder, realistically, what they would make sense? Would they make sense for those two shows for like Raw on Monday? I know they brought, even once when you kind of saw WCW kind of liquidate and you kind of saw them kind of go under, you had WWE have the Great American Bash. You've kind of, you had them, kind of had like you saw Halloween Havoc on NXT. It's, I feel like for the pay-per-view names, yes, I feel like 1,010%. But for Nitro and Thunder, I feel like those are so they're not, obviously WCW isn't WCW. They were like how do I say this? Damn it. They're kind of, they were like the steeple, the main shows that when you hear Nitro, you think of automatically WCW. And when you hear Thunder, you think of WCW as well. But those names would bring so much like nostalgic to like wrestling fans, and to find out that it's just another, another WWE show. Like we've kind of talked about before, NXT is moving to the CW. Perhaps maybe they kind of bring another show along. You have Monday Night Raw going to Netflix. I feel like overall that the USA Network, they had two shows. They have two shows. And what's NXT? NXT has to start selling out arenas all across. Like, what if 1 week, they have two shows a week. Let's just say they do. They have two shows a week. 1 week, they're at the WWE Performance Center that's opening in Las Vegas. So you could be walking on the strip with your friends, getting drunk or whatever. And you could be like, oh, we can see the Blue Man Group. Oh, we can go see a match. We can go see, something at the Excalibur or New York, or something happening at Caesar's Palace. And then you'd be like, hey, honestly, like 10 or 20 minutes away, there's a WWE show, we can go check it out. That's a huge possibility. That could be something that'd be a pretty interesting aspect of NXT. NXT has been kind of, been viral in terms of, kind of having WCW themed pay-per-views. Like we recently saw the Great American Bash, and, this October, they're going to have the Halloween Havoc. So like, if you have like a Thursday Night Thunder for TNA, you have a show on Tuesday, or like, I don't think they would bring Nitro back. Nitro was so prominent within WCW, I feel like because of the Monday Night Wars, you know what I mean? Like when you hear the word Nitro, they're like, oh, you think of Booker T, Diamond Dallas Page, Scott Steiner, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, and like, I don't know, it's just it's crazy, but it's definitely 1,010%. I feel like it could, definitely it could happen like that. I feel like if NXT does introduce a new show, they're gonna have to, kind of bring back like something that was in the past. You know what I mean? Just to kind of hit the trademark in some of the brains of the WWE universe to be like, that's a wrestling show. That's a wrestling show that I love to have. And a lot of people think that, well, when 205 Live went under with all those cruiserweights, and then WWE introduces something like Velocity. Velocity was a show, obviously, back in the early 2000s, and it didn't receive that much, that much of a response. And Sunday Night Heat, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if NXT had like a Saturday Night Heat, Friday Night Heat. Well, not Friday because SmackDown. So a show on Thursday would probably be. Well, I don't know if they want to take too much attention off of TNA, but I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. Or having a show for NXT and TNA to collaborate on that one show, that would be badass. That would be crazy. Thursday Night Thunder or Saturday Night Thunder, where you have TNA, NXT for once a week, kind of cross promotions be on the same show. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. I feel like that'd be dope. All right, rapidly running out of time. We got my man Emran's GSMC Soccer Podcast showing up at 9:30. So we got to, kind of wrap it up. All right, at number 10, we got my man Thom Latimer, dethroned EC3 after a year reign as the NWA heavyweight champion. He lost it at the 76th anniversary in Philadelphia. Congratulations, first and foremost. EC3 was not an easy beat, but he was able to do it, which is, gotta give respect. All right, at number 9, I got All Ego Ethan Page, the NXT World Heavyweight Champion, continues to be impressive. He does whatever he needs to do to win the match. He's not the flashiest guy. You see him backstage with a lot of, he's all ego. He's all ego. He might not be the biggest guy. He might not do crazy stuff inside the ring, jumping off of top ropes, jumping, into the crowd or all this other stuff. But he literally, he's that prototypical champion. And, a lot of fans really don't like that. Trick Williams was electric. He was in your face. Kind of reminds me of, and rest in peace, but kind of like Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, when he was in the NBA, he was just bring it on. Bring it on. I don't care what you have to say. You can talk all the crap you want. But guess what? We're going to settle this out in the court. And and Trick Williams is you know what? We're going to settle it out in the ring. All Ego Ethan Page is you know what? You're not good enough to face me tonight. You don't deserve a title shot. And that's just his personality, and that's right now what NXT has. I ultimately thought he was going to drop the belt against Joe Hendry in the future. I didn't think he was going to on Sunday. I definitely didn't think that. But I think he's kind of good for NXT as the head honcho right now. I feel like he's great. I would kind of layer in a couple of episodes, find out what's going on with the CW, find out your ratings, find out, how Ethan Page is doing as the champion. And I would just kind of play from there. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry from London, Paris, Tokyo. But I don't think he's going to be the head of NXT. I think that, he's obviously an international star. People love him. But I don't know, just having a heel as the main champion just does so much good. So much good for a wrestling promotion. I think, of course that seems kind of weird. But I don't know. It just makes things better. All right, at number 8, I got Zachary Wentz recently winning the X Division Championship, then going on to NXT to fight a familiar friend turned to foe, Wes Lee, in an amazing match. Wes Lee deserved to get his arse beat. I loved it. It's awesome. Zachary Wentz is, I think he's there for on TNA to stay. I think he's great. I think he's great 1,010%. He has everything inside the ring to be a superstar, and he's decent on the mic. He's also decent on the mic. So, kind of having those two, kind of Poras come together and be amazing. I would love to see him more on NXT. Obviously, he's doing his thing right now on TNA. So I don't want to see this Zachary Wentz train come to a screeching halt. I want to see this train rolling, baby. All right, at number 7, we got Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF. The best thing about MJF is even if he loses and even if he doesn't have a title, you just watch it. Because the stuff he does is insane. The way he gets the fans is so Oh my god. Oh my god. Smashing a wine glass over the head of Daniel Garcia and then kissing his forehead where the open wound was, having Daniel Garcia's blood run down his face. He doesn't care. He really doesn't. It's crazy. And I feel like that's the reason why MJF is like one of the best wrestlers in the professional wrestling industry right now. And I feel like once when he came back, AEW kind of had a breath, a sigh of relief because they're like MJF's back, I can't say it, but he's back and he's back with a vengeance. And as of right now, I feel like it's been very beneficial with him being back. And at number 6, I got my man, the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, Mark Briscoe. What more can I say about this guy? The leader of the conglomeration, just his mic skills are amazing. I wish I had that. The way he just opens, like he just does it like off the fly. So much skill, so much skill. Outside of the ring and inside the ring as well. There's so many chances that there's so many times where I thought he was going to drop the belt. Kyle Fletcher, I thought he was going to drop it. I thought he was going to drop the belt to Roderick Strong. Beast Mortos, I was like, dude, this guy's, he's kind of hot right now. He's kind of riding a momentum wave. But the reason why they have Mark Briscoe as the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion is because he's just so great. He's so electric. Like I said, on the mic, inside the ring, doing like acrobatic moves. He's literally like the Swiss Army knife of professional wrestling. And and you could tell the best thing about his style of wrestling is you can tell that he enjoys it. You can tell that he enjoys it. So then, as a wrestling fan watching it, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna enjoy this stuff too, man. I'm gonna enjoy it too. All right, at number 5, we have Nick Nemeth, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Love Nick Nemeth. Think he has a pretty bright future with TNA. We'll love to see how this whole JBL thing finally surfaces after kind of leaving a cliffhanger at the end of TNA Emergence. So it should be interesting to find out more between that. Maybe he finds a way to bring Nick Nemeth to WWE NXT, which would be, kind of crazy. All right, and number 4, I got Gunther, the Ring General Gunther. I respect Gunther. I do. I think he's a great champion. I think he's a great superstar. But as of right now, right now on Raw, besides Damian Priest, and I feel like Damian Priest is still like on the outside looking in from the main event. On SmackDown, you kind of have 2 or 3 top guys. On Raw, you probably only have like 2. Obviously, you have Drew McIntyre and CM Punk kind of figuring their stuff out right now. Gunther's a winner. He's a champion. 75% of his career, he's held a WWE main title, the Intercontinental, and now the World Heavyweight Championship, which is insane. Something that has never been seen during the likes of WWE. But I don't know. His matches are instant classics every single time. So maybe he's going to grow on me. Maybe I think of more like a World Heavyweight Champion, like an in-your-face kind of personality. But Gunther comes to the ring, he's like, "You're not going to beat me. I'm sorry, you're not going to beat me. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. I'm going to get inside your head. When match comes, guess what? I'm going to dominate you inside the ring on the ground, aerial, submission, technical. And that's something that Gunther does. And you can tell it every single time he wrestles a match. So at number 4, I got Gunther. 3, I got Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, the aerial assassin himself, reclaims the AEW International Championship at AEW All In. At All Out, he's going to fight Pac. I don't think he's going to lose it, but Will Ospreay is definitely he's impressive. He's mucho impressive. Definitely one of the most special superstars that I've seen inside the ring. A huge loss that WWE had a chance to sign him, but man, imagine him in WWE right now. Whew, that'd be crazy. But ultimately, he got the bag. He signed with AEW's Tony Khan, and right now it seems like it's suiting him, so I can't really be too upset. At number 2, I got Bryan Danielson, the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Really not much to say about this guy is that he's amazing. He's definitely one of the best technical wrestlers in all of wrestling history. And, I love that with his personality and his character, you just don't know what persona of Daniel Bryan you're going to get. You either get the cool, calm, and collected Bryan Danielson. You also get this aggressive, but at the end of the day, at the end of every single match, he comes out on top. So 1,010%. Number 2, I got Bryan Danielson. Of course, at number 1, adrenaline in my soul, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, the WWE Undisputed Champion. He's just I love Cody Rhodes for two reasons. Number one is that he just leaves it all out in the ring. He just gets the fans into it. This emotional appeal. You just can't, then you see some of these, live WWE live events where you would never really see like big name superstars like Cody Rhodes fight. But then he's out there shaking hands with the fans, taking pictures. He's just so down to earth. Man, he's so damn down to earth. And the second reason why I love Cody Rhodes is because of his theme song. I'm just kidding. No, although he does have a pretty cool theme song, 1010%. But Cody Rhodes is definitely number one on the list. Nobody deserves it more than this guy right here, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. All right, so let's jump on into our fourth segment. We talked about the men, and now we're going to talk about my top 10 women in professional wrestling. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, on the GSMC Sports Network, here to talk about professional wrestling, some good old-fashioned wrestling. Definitely love wrestling ever since I was a kid. It was like a family bonding kind of thing. I bet you a lot of you guys listening right now could definitely, kind of relate to this. Watching wrestling, sitting in the living room with a bowl of popcorn, talking to your family, watching these, larger than life superstars kind of be like a heroic kind of superhero. Because you got to remember, once when WWE, WWF started really, kind of surfacing, you never really had those like hero type people on TV. Of course, obviously there's like, there's a Hulk and Superman, and all this other stuff, Smallville. But, there wasn't really Marvel established at that point where there was Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Spider. There was, of course, like Tobey Maguire, but like a lot of people looked up to these WWE superstars. For me, it was definitely Triple H. Triple H and Shawn Michaels, especially going into high school as well. Once when, cell phones were starting to come out, Facebook, MySpace, and just, a lot of wrestling. I think wrestling kind of took a hit during this digital era, but, WWE was able to kind of, set their priorities straight. They kind of used this ultimately to their advantage. And now you see every WWE superstar right now with like an Instagram or Facebook or a TikTok, and the fans love it. I feel like, a lot of people think that digital media destroyed professional wrestling because, kayfabe, it's not really that, prominent anymore, but wrestling fans know that it's staged and choreographed, you know what I mean? But like you follow your favorite superstar, you react to their photos, and sometimes they do react to your comments. You kind of build this personal relationship between your superstars and the fans. So overall, I definitely think 1010% that during this, digital era, which is crazy. I can't believe how crazy like cell phones are nowadays, like, and what AI can do. Oh God, they're gonna take my job. I'm just kidding. No, but I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. It's kind of a trip. Thought I'd share that with you guys. All right, now we got the women's power rankings. Eric's top 10 women's wrestlers in professional wrestling right now. And like I said, we're rapidly running out of time. We got my boy Emran's GSMC wrestling podcast, GSMC soccer podcast. It'd be kind of cool to kind of watch somebody, try to do this podcast, other than me. It'd be kind of cool to watch. I'd be like, dude, like, right on, right on. So at number 10, we got Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton is obviously the women's Money in the Bank holder. She's in trouble right now. She's in trouble 1010%. Nia Jax thinks that she cashed in on her. Obviously, we're going to get a lot of answers on SmackDown, which I'm recording right now. Can't wait to watch. But Tiffany Stratton, she needs to screw over Nia Jax. I'm sorry, but she does. She needs to build up this persona. She needs to be larger than life for SmackDown. SmackDown, going to the USA Network, they need somebody bigger. Like, and I don't want to say it's kind of sad to say that a lot of injured superstars like Alexa Bliss, who's a champion, Asuka is oh my god, a champion, Royal Rumble winner, Money in the Bank winner, Charlotte Flair. Like you see all these people, like kind of taking a back seat. Becky Lynch is still unsigned by WWE. Right now it's the perfect time to kind of promote your young superstars. And Tiffany Stratton, the way her personality is just so perfect. Just so damn perfect the way she's kind of like in your face. She's like, and her athletic abilities is insane. It's like a Charlotte Flair and Chelsea Green all at the same time. She's that good. And I feel like she has a bright future with WWE. If she cashes in that money to bank, she needs to win. I'm sorry, but she needs to win. At number 9, I got Athena, the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, one of the longest title reigns you're seeing right now in professional wrestling history and in Ring of Honor history, of course. Athena is definitely she's talented. Not much to say about this, but not like an I told you so to WWE that you should have probably kept that contract with Ember Moon. But she has a unique talent that a lot of other women's wrestlers, they kind of have. They kind of have. But when Ember Moon steps inside the ring, fans they lock up. They lock up, they notice. Someone could be, looking at his phone, you hear the entrance music and you're like, "Oh, like it's a freaking the longest reigning Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, women's World Heavyweight Champion in the world." So, she puts a lot of people on lock there. So I think right now during her career on Ring of Honor, I think she's better off probably here other than what she'd endured in WWE, which, kind of sucks because, I loved her there. At number 8, I got Liv Morgan. If you tune into this podcast promptly or, daily, I'm not the biggest Liv Morgan kind of guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think she's ultimately a better chaser than she is champion. I feel like right now, during her tenure as the WWE World Women's Heavyweight Champion, what have you done? Like, what really have you done? You won a botched match against Rhea Ripley. You stole Dominic Mysterio, and now you're with this like a bootleg version of the Judgment Day. Like it's not that great, but she is getting her name out there. Yeah, she's successful in that aspect. So you can't really be upset about that. I think overall wrestling belongs, on the inside the ring and their personas, their character also. But if some people are really good at cutting promos, some people are really good at this backstage like drama because WWE, it's two things. Like, what I mean? It does come down to the wrestling and the matches and the championship matches, but it also storylines and right now Liv Morgan in terms of storylines, she's killing it. So, I have her right now, number 8 on my list. At number 7, we got Bayley, the former WWE champion. I feel like her coming back to wrestling was great. Something that I've always thought of Bayley as was kind of like a young person, kind of like a young wrestler achieving their dream. They're a wrestling fan, and deep down inside, she's still that, but she's getting older, and you can kind of tell that, like, you can tell that she's gotten older. She's gotten a hell of a lot older. Batch, I still think that she looks great. You know what I mean? Obviously. But like I maybe in terms of like her bookings, maybe or promos or character development with WWE, it's more of like what you would give like an older superstar. You know what I mean? Like what you would give somebody like an aging Kevin Nash or like Shawn Michaels when he was getting up there. You know what I mean? Or like what they gave Edge once when he made his way back. And then of course he went to AEW, but I don't know. Overall, I feel like right now she's in that position where, she's kind of achieved everything under the sun. I believe she's a Grand Slam champion. I believe she is. But right now, I got to respect Bayley. I think 1,010%. Whenever she comes on the show, not like she was as a heel. I love her as a baby face. She belongs as a baby face. As a heel worked for a little bit, but, kind of grew a little tiresome there. At number 6, I have the AEW Women's World Champion, Mariah May. Mariah May, she strengthened her title run, defeating Nyla Rose last Wednesday on Dynamite. Just her persona, I like it. I definitely think it's for me, of course, there's it's a little blotchy because you have, of course, Toni Storm. Toni Storm is an amazing wrestler. Obviously, Mariah May's kind of protege. And Mariah May, I like what they've done with the storyline to have her, kind of dethrone Storm. But so far, like, you've kind of seen her cut promos. I think out of her 2-week reign, she's probably cut. I don't even know if she's cutting a really good promo. Just well, she did what she was like talking about, like the post match. But I don't know. It's like you don't want to sacrifice if you're a wrestling brand and if you're a story writer, you don't want to sacrifice something that could be long term better, like Toni Storm being the champion, as opposed to like the flavor of the week, like Mariah May maybe could be. I'm not saying she is. Give me a couple more matches of watching her. I might have a better analyze of where I think her career is heading. But as of right now, I kind of miss Toni Storm having a strap. I got to be honest. All right, on number 5, I got Lyra Valkyria. Recently, she was drafted to WWE Raw in April. She made her way back to NXT to help out her former friend Tatum Paxley, who was getting attacked by Wendy Chu and TNA superstar Rosemary. I ultimately think that she's going to be the one to answer Jordan Grace's open challenge. I'm kind of hoping she made it in the finals of the women's Queen of the Ring, so I thought that was pretty damn cool. She was defeated by, of course, Nia Jax, but she's a very special superstar. She's definitely turned into one of my most favorite wrestlers. She's right there. I feel like she's right there on the cusp of greatness. Obviously she's, from like the Becky Lynch kind of area, which is kind of cool. Maybe she's the man. Maybe she's the woman or the man part 2. Just kidding. No, that'd be kind of lame. Imagine, your nickname would be, hey, look, it's the man part 2. I'm just kidding. No. But anyways, I like Lyra Valkyria. I think she definitely has a promising future ahead. All right. So at number 4, we have Nia Jax, the WWE Women's Champion on SmackDown. Nia Jax, got to give her all the respect in the world. WWE has forever kind of left Nia Jax in the dark. They gave her like a title run once, ended up kind of, ending, impromptu. And Nia Jax, she's just she's literally the irresistible force. And I talk about this a lot, and I'm not saying because, I'm not trying to be like what is that when you talk about like weight and stuff, like not like a sexist or like an ageist or anything like that. But like when it comes to bigger superstars, and you kind of seen it in the men's for the longest time, like they don't get really good bookings because they're just too dominant. They're just way too dominant. And I guess you can also kind of compare like Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's title run to this as well, because that guy was unstoppable. And also you can also talk about maybe perhaps like, why Big Show never really got a shot during the Attitude Era. Perhaps you could talk about that as well. Also, I remember when Awesome Kong was the champion in TNA. I remember when who was that other superstar? Damn it. I remember when like superstars like Keith Lee came in, also like who was that guy? I can't think of him right now, and it's gonna bother me all night. But overall, I don't know. It should be pretty crazy. I think I love that they're giving her a run. She deserves a run. She really does. 1,010%. She has deserved this championship for the longest time. They finally gave it to her. But right now, it's like the question of maybe it's a little too late. That maybe as WWE fans, we kind of accept her as like not as great or not on this high main event card, because WWE's done so much time to kind of kick her heels down for us to be like, you know what, her as a WWE champion, I don't believe it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't believe it. I've been told no so many times, but when it happens, it's like, it could be too close for comfort. And maybe we just got, maybe I'm just speaking, maybe I'm just projecting my, internal thoughts on you guys. But maybe that's why I don't see Nia Jax as a champion. Maybe that's why. Maybe because I've seen her whole life of, losing to smaller superstars where she should have just dominated them. She should have just won, defeated him. It's like, chill out. I'm just kidding, no. But overall, Nia Jax, I have her at number 4. Number 3, I got Roxanne Perez. I love Roxanne Perez, the way she's representing NXT right now. Can't wait for her match with Julia on the CW. At number 2, making it all the way up to number 2 is the Juggernaut, Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace is, oh my God, she's great. She's great. She's the best women's wrestler in the whole entire industry right now, flat out. She goes out every single week, defends her championship, open challenges, and she's very impressive inside the ring. This girl's only just getting reps and reps and reps of wrestling matches, and it's going to be hard to beat her. I can't honestly think of anybody right now to beat her. At number 1, I have Mercedes Moné with her new bodyguard. She's unstoppable. She's unstoppable. She's a double champion right now. I think her match against Kushida at AEW All In is going to be a good one, but it's kind of hard to beat somebody like Mercedes Moné, especially with the way that she has, riding that momentum. All right, guys. Oh my God, we're running out of time. Why does this keep happening? Next, we're going to talk about AEW All Out predictions. So let's not dilly-dally. Let's go ahead and get through this when we come back. So, hey, do not go anywhere. All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick. We had our WWE Smackdown preview. We had my Thursday Night Wrestling review. We talked about Ring of Honor and TNA. We talked about my top 10 men in professional wrestling. And then we talked about my top 10 women in professional wrestling. And now we're going to talk about some AEW All Out predictions. We have about 10 minutes before I have to, log it off. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to hit up that super chat, hit up those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. This podcast is all about you. Love hearing your guys' opinions and questions and chats and stuff like that. Definitely want you guys to be more definitely a part of the show. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to something forward. Sorry, my dog's going crazy back there. First and foremost, sorry, there's a bug in here. It's going crazy. I have a chat from my man, Death of Slim Shady, which is actually kind of a crazy name, but I like it, mate. Hey Oos, nice to meet you, Oos. My name is Matthew, 23 years old with ADHD from Kalua. Sorry, I'm terrible with pronunciations. I'm sorry if I butchered it. Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm a huge WWE fan, Oos, and I am too. I started once when I was like 10 years old, 23 years old, you have your whole life ahead of you. Godspeed, my man. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope you keep watching WWE, keep tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. And just know this podcast is all about the wrestling fans. So definitely love. Thank you so much for chatting. Also, I got a chat from Alden Danielson. Hello. I love the last name. Danielson, like Bryan Danielson. That's pretty badass. Keep tuning into the show as well. Shoot me on any chats or anything like that if you want to, have any more questions, comments, or concerns. All right, so we're running deep of time, kind of crazy. So let's go ahead and bang on through this. First and foremost, we have the Will Ospreay match with Pac for the AEW International Championship. First and foremost, I want to apologize for that. That was a big ass bug. Like if you saw that bug right here, like oh my god, like you got. I don't know. I would have freaked out. It was kind of crazy. It's like a bug on steroids. It's like a Hulk Hogan of bugs. Or I'm just kidding. Barry Bonds. I'm just kidding. Moving on. Will Ospreay against Pac. for the International Championship. You know, Will Ospreay recently dethroned MJF for that championship belt back. I really honestly don't see any damn reason why he would lose the match tonight. I mean, tomorrow, Saturday night. Tomorrow night. Damn. Holy crap. Damn, I gotta check out my finances, see if I can buy this. I'm just kidding. No, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I got a chat. Alden Danielson. I'm not care, brothers. Akuro Shida not win. Still believe Akuro should win. I think she could as well. She has she's been she's been a champion before. She's been a champion before, but Mercedes Moné right now is just riding so high with the TBS championship, also the New Japan Professional Wrestling Women's Strong Championship. And right now, Tony Khan, I feel like kind of has her where she's going to be this dominant force. And I feel like eventually when she does lose, it's going to be against something like, obviously I think Hikaru Shida is she's a veteran, which gives her a, pretty good chance. Every single time she steps into the ring, she puts on some pretty, good matches on Dynamite, Collision, Rampage. Also when she fights on Ring of Honor as well. And I watched a couple of her matches in New Japan Professional Wrestling. So I think she's got a shot. I think she's going to come so close. Kind of like what you saw with that match where she fought, not Willow Nightingale. Who did she recently fight? Damn it. But no, Britt Baker. I think she fought Britt Baker for the TBS championship, but won because of her new muscle. Not Cameron. Here's not Cameron. Damn it. Her new muscle. I can't think of her name right now. Camille. Sorry. Damn it. Camille. So I feel like, they're kind of heading toward this storyline with this kind of like where you saw Shawn Michaels back when you kind of had the, his bodyguard Diesel, where he kept racking up the wins. So, that's where I think Mercedes Moné is, eventually probably going to drop the belt. Maybe she finds a way to push Camille too hard, or she challenges for the belt and she becomes like a new singles, because she was signed by she was also signed, from, departing from the National Wrestling Alliance, which is another name that the National Wrestling Alliance lost because a top promotional wrestling brand. Not like they had too much of WCW. Now you have AEW. I'm just kidding, but I don't know. I think Will Ospreay tomorrow night's going to win. Willow Nightingale takes on Chris Statlander in a Chicago street fight. Since it's not for a championship, I love Chris Statlander, but if it was for a championship, I would say Willow Nightingale. Swerve Strickland takes on Hangman Adam Page in an unsanctioned lights out steel cage match. It is personal, man. In a week's time, stuff has hit the fan, guys. Stuff has hit the fan. It's crazy between these two. Like, that escalated way too quickly. Swerve Strickland recently bought his childhood home that his mother cried so hard because it foreclosed, and him as a young man couldn't do anything about it. And Hangman Adam Page sat a chair out front, lit it on fire, and just enjoyed it. And then, God, I thought overall it was a good promo. Swerve Strickland, he just looks so damn. Oh, it was real. It was so real. It was kind of sad. I was a little sad. I got to be honest. I hope Swerve wins. MJF going against Daniel Garcia. All this hype with I don't see MJF losing twice in a row on PLEs though, or pay-per-views. I don't see it happening. But Daniel Garcia, he's, I believe he still hasn't signed a contract yet with AEW. Maybe he inks it in the pre-show, kind of like what you saw Swerve do on All In. And maybe that kind of, has his, because I feel like he does need to be pushed. Daniel Garcia needs to be pushed, all the way. I feel like he's going to fight probably for the International Championship. Maybe he's the next one to challenge Kazuchika Okada for the AEW Continental Championship. But overall, I feel like, there's a lot of I'm 50-50 right now between these superstars. Mercedes Moné, Hikaru Shida, TBS Championship. I think Mercedes is going to win this one. Once again, like I was talking to my man Alden Danielson, it's going to be because of interference. And that's classic heel. You can't really blame Mercedes Moné for that. That's a classic heel. That's how they win. And, they get all the respect, too. Next, we have Bryan Danielson taking on Jack Perry for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. if Jack Perry ends up winning this match, I'm never gonna watch AEW again. I gotta be honest. I'm just kidding. No, but actually, I don't think I am. You know, the AEW TNT champion takes on the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, champion versus champion. But Jack Perry, I don't think he's ready to be the main. I don't think he's ready to be the face of the company. I ultimately feel like this is a match to kind of show how good Jack Perry could be against Bryan Danielson, show that he does have potential to be as a main Carter, but nothing else. You know, I think if when Bryan Danielson loses this championship, I don't think he's going to lose it. I think he's going to be like, look, I have to go into surgery. It's already scheduled at the end of the year. I'm just going to relinquish my title. And that's how I kind of feel like. Maybe you guys have other, opinions. Make sure you shoot them in the chat. But I don't want to see Jack Perry as AEW World Champion. I don't. I really don't. I don't. The Young Bucks take on Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Young Bucks are going to win. I don't know when Tony Khan's going to pull this plug on this EVPs, the Elite. It's trash. It's ready to be put to bed. Jack Perry's doing things on his own right now. Kazuchika Okada's doing things on his own right now. This faction needs to break up. They need to lose all the gold. You know, they need to they need to lose those AEW Tag Team Championships 1,010%. And I just don't think it's working. And it's a damn shame. It is a damn shame. I do like the Young Bucks. And the moment I started watching AEW, you know, they turned into these guys. Of course, when you saw CM Punk kind of depart from AEW, it had a lot to do with the Young Bucks, had a lot to do with Jack Perry. And it's just, I don't know. It kind of reminds people of kind of like a bad time in AEW. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's just me as a wrestling fan or an AEW fan. Like, when I see Jack Perry and the Elite together, I'm like, you guys kind of missed on a huge opportunity with CM Punk here. But, I don't know. But that's how I feel. And lastly, we have Kazuchika Okada faces to be announced. Damn it, to be determined for the Continental Championship. Who do I think is going to show up? Who do I think is going to show up to face Kazuchika? Maybe like a familiar foe in the back. Maybe Eddie Kingston comes back. That could happen. Eddie Kingston comes back after. Well, he did have a leg injury. I'm not sure. Damn it. As of right now, I really can't think of anybody who would just shock the world to be like, oh my God, like maybe. No, Ricochet's not going to be that guy. That would be crazy. But I feel like that would kind of be, pushed way too early. Kyle Fletcher kind of had way more than his chances to do it. I don't know. This is, I honestly don't know who would challenge Kaz Okada for this championship match. Maybe Jon Moxley. That could be possible. Jon Moxley could do it. Maybe Kenny Omega. No, I don't think he's ready to come back from injury. But I don't know. It should be interesting to find out who answers this, not open challenge, but kind of like this, who knows who's he going to face kind of thing. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. Thank you guys so much. That's it for me. Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys had a great week of watching the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast and had a great week of watching wrestling. Wrestling fans are one of a kind. We are family. 1,010% love chats. Thank you guys so much from my boy, Alden Danielson and Anthony Mazzano. Definitely love you guys 1,010%. Thank you for tuning into my show. And yeah. All right. So go over and follow us on Twitter/X, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for more and TikTok for more content and updates. And like I always say, if I had not made you a wrestling fan by now, tune into GSMC Soccer Podcast with my boy Emmerich. 4 minutes and counting. Should be pretty cool. We have Sports by GSMC with Jeremy. We got GSMC Sports with my boy TJ. We got 2 football podcasts. The NFL is in full heat. Find out who to put your football fantasy bets on. If you have a football pool where you're doing over-unders or spreads, tune into, my boy Kenneth at the GSMC Football Podcast. My boy Manny with the Chip Shot Football Podcast. Also, we have a podcast strictly based on your guys' NFL fantasy needs with my boy Chris Shepard. He's as great as he is handsome. So make sure you tune into that show. Find out your stardoms, your sit-ems, who to drop. Maybe some players that are trending down that a lot of people are picking up, but they're like, you know what? They're not going to be that good. So, make sure you tune into the GSMC Fantasy Sports Podcast. Make sure you tune into my boy Nelson's podcast, GSMC Basketball. And I feel like basketball is always kind of kind of on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy to say. Usually when you see basketball podcasts, the NHL comes back, kind of, go one hand in one with an 82 game season. But, of course, with LeBron James always in the mix, is this going to be like his last couple of seasons? If you're an NBA fan, especially, I am, I could be bigger, definitely could be a bigger NBA fan. But a lot of, you're seeing Steph Curry probably going to hang up his boots pretty soon. LeBron James going to hang up his boots pretty soon. A lot of these superstars that I kind of grew up watching are probably going to retire, and it's going to be kind of sad. It's going to be kind of sad. We have college football tomorrow on Saturday. Find out all your information in terms of college football on my boy Tommy's podcast, the GSMC College Podcast. Tune in, college football podcast, college podcast. What would the college podcast be like? Oh, what kind of girls can we hook up with this week? I'm just kidding. No, just kidding. How to perfect the beer pong game. No, that'd be pretty great. That'd be pretty good. But anyways, guys, hey, thank you guys so much. Enjoy your Friday night. Also, stay beautiful. But most importantly, like always, love you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.